It is 4:03 and we have more than a quorum, which is nice. Apologies to the applicants for not being able to pull together a quorum 2 weeks ago, but I think you do appreciate that we are all volunteer, and even with this time of COVID and we seem to be home more, people do the best they can. So we did schedule this as a special meeting in order to hopefully not inconvenience you for a longer period of time and making you wait till the next regularly scheduled meeting. I am the chairman, Jay Bombara, and also the other commissioners on the phone or on the Zoom call are Jim Calciano, Liz Jemsky, Evan Honeyman, and Holly Holden. And with that, we'll open the meeting. And Jim, do you have the notices, or do you want me to read that?
Why don't you read it? If I touch this screen, anything can happen.
All right. So for sake of efficiency and not losing Jim, I'll call the first public hearing. This is the Farmington Historic District Commission. We're holding an online public hearing today, Tuesday, December 1, 2020 at 4 p.m. On the following application: Linda Donahue, application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to install roof-mounted solar panels at 25 Hatters Lane. So what I'll do is, hopefully, I'm sure somebody's on the call for this.
Yes,
we'll
I am.
Identify yourself and an address, and then make a presentation. Once you've done that, we'll go around and I'll call out the different commission members, and they can ask questions, and then we'll ask for public comment, and then we'll act upon the application. So with that, whoever is here for the Linda Donahue application.
Yes, it's me, Linda
Okay.
Donahue. I'm from Tesla. Hi, how are you?
Good.
So I am presenting for 25 Hatters Lane. I know you guys got the pictures and the plans and everything, how the panels are going to be laid. They're mostly on the side of the house, and then not visible from the street, besides the first two ones that are on the porch. But that's pretty much, and they're black, so dark, yes.
So where on, can you provide a little more information as to where these are being placed? Is it on the entire roof?
Yes, it's not on the entire roof, no. I think you had the one that, the first picture, I think. So that one shows where it's gonna, that's the whole house. So the dark ones right there, those are the ones that actually solar panels.
Okay. So
Yeah.
these are, I wasn't sure if those were existing or those are, so
no, those are the ones that's gonna go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
Yep.
showing and illustrating where they are going to go. And then this
Right.
illustrates where the equipment will be
Inverter, right.
Okay. Okay.
So just so I'm clear, so I'm sorry, Shannon, since you have control of the cursor, can you show again where the new panels are going? I know there's panels already on there.
Sure.
Oh, they're not there, no. Those are new
Those
ones, yes.
panels aren't existing. They've just superimposed them on the aerial so that it's an illustration of where the panels will be. There's no panels there. Right?
Okay. So where you are right now, either one, that part of the roof parallels the driveway that goes up and back. Is that correct? Just so we're.
Correct,
In other words,
yes.
It's the back of the house, and then the driveway.
The
somebody's
side,
driveway
yes.
to the left,
Mhm.
and your driveway is the right. As you can see, that's the garage that the cursor's now on.
Yeah.
So, I will say you could probably, I don't think you could see the garage ones probably from the street. You might see the house panels. You might see the back of those a little bit, but at any rate, that in itself isn't as positive. Okay, with that, I do see that, and maybe I'll start with John Renahan, another commissioner, has also joined the call. I'm sorry, before I get there, one more thing. So what is going to go on the side of the house next to the current electric meter and all that?
Oh, actually, if you can go to the plans, they're just going to be an inverter, not everything, because I know the site plan shows a lot, the first one, like the second page, all the way to the, when you start, yeah, go up, all the way up, yeah. I'll show you when to, okay, so after the, so next one, sorry, I just wanted to get to the page. Next one. Okay, so next one. So this is the one. So I know it's so small and you can see some in like dotted lines and stuff. The only thing the meter that's gonna go next to the meter is the inverter. That's it. Everything else, technically the ones that show it with dotted lines are gonna go inside because we have the power walls, but they're gonna go inside. The batteries are not gonna
How
go.
big is the inverter, the thing that's gonna go on the outside?
We have the specs in they're not, they're the size of the meter pretty much, the same as the meter. They're not big.
I'm sorry, how big?
So they're not the size of the meter pretty much.
Okay.
Because I don't have, I do have there are the Solar Edge on the specs on page number 12. That's where the specs for the inverters, but it's not big.
Okay, so those are the two.
Yes.
With the side of the house and the panels
Right.
on the roof.
Right.
Okay.
So that's the only part that's going to be on the next to the meter, nothing else. We'll try to put everything else in the basement, because the only one that we put next to the meter is the disconnect for the fire marshals and the emergency. They require that to be next to the meter. Other than that, the other disconnects and stuff can go under, I mean, inside. So, yeah.
And they require it to be placed by the meters, have you just said?
Right, yes. They require that because of the shut off, like they need for emergency. In case of a fire, they need to see that, and it has to be outside. So.
Yeah, well, it certainly makes sense.
Yeah, right, correct.
Okay, with that then, well, do you have anything else to present, or if not, we'll go to questions from the commissioners?
I think the plans speak for themselves. No, I don't have anything unless you guys have questions. Yep.
Yeah. All right. I'll go. This is just for expediency since we're on Zoom. John Renahan, thanks for joining. Do you have any questions or comments on the application?
Yeah, just a couple. So just to clarify, the power wall, which are the storage packs, they will not be on the inside, they'll be on the inside.
Oh yeah, definitely on the inside. They're not going to be outside. No, they're going inside.
And then again,
Your phone.
the size of the inverter are, because the size, the inverters can come in all sizes. Are they designing micro inverters on the panels too, so they can get around shading issues? Are there micro inverters and an inverter box too? Do you know?
Well, we just put one inverter, not the ones from the panel. Like I think, yeah, no, just one. Yeah. And actually, my designer kind of like on that picture, he showed the in red how small they are gonna be, so that they can go there. But I know that the disconnect is not big, it's small. So, because I know you guys see it from the perspective of like how big and how they're gonna look on the exterior part.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Final question. I think you clarified, but what someone will be able to see from the street is, a little bit of the garage and maybe a little bit of that back wing.
Right. Correct. Yes. But it's like, I think that he has the trees there, so they should be able to cover. Unless, I mean, not right now. We don't have any leaves, but yeah, correct. Yes.
And it looked like kind of a symmetric design. I know you see sometimes solar designs can be all over the place. This looks like it's pretty symmetric with the roof line, correct?
Correct, yes. And actually since my designer knew that it was for a historic district, he has to work more harder on like actually making it really acceptable by you guys. So, and it's like actually has to be that way, since it's a house, not that we do the other ones differently, but it happened that the sun hits on that side for this house, so the productivity, like we just don't want the homeowner to just get slashed on the productivity, like get as much as energy as he can. So that's all. Yeah.
Thanks.
Before I move on to the next, Commissioner, if you're not speaking, go on mute maybe, because there is some background noise.
Yes.
At least
I
to
don't know
me, it's a
who it
little
is.
distracting.
It's annoying.
Okay,
It's not me. I'm by myself.
that's okay. I'm not asking who. You just put yourself on mute if you think there
Yeah.
could possibly be you, please. Okay, so with that, Jim, why don't you go ahead?
I guess my only concern was that inverter box, but I think she answered that. Okay. It's very annoying. I'm telling you, I can't stand it. They should mute their button. There's not much we can do about the solar panels. It's a permitted, energy saving devices are permitted. So, do they look the greatest? No. Do we allow them? Yes. So I don't have a problem. It looks like they're limited by what side gets the most sun. I get that. And they've made it by putting some on the other side, we don't have them on every section of the roof. So I'm okay with it.
Liz, do you have any questions or comments on the application?
No, thank you.
Holly?
No questions. No.
Okay, and for those who may not have been on the call earlier, I'm going to call on our newest member. If you haven't had a chance to meet him, hopefully you will once we get over this coronavirus. Evan, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, I will echo what
Jay O'Leary has joined the call.
what Jim said, that there is a specific statute which allows for solar, and I'm not so sure we wouldn't approve them anyway, but at any rate, they have it as a right. I do like the fact that, whatever equipment is required to be on the outside of the house is going to be by the existing equipment. So obviously we don't want it in yet another spot. I mean, let's put it all in one place. I know it has to, but that helps mitigate a little bit the, I guess, modern technology. So with that, I don't have anything else. Is there anybody on this call that would like to make a comment or have a question about the application? Anyone in the public? Raise your hand, I guess, or yell out.
And Jay, I'd just like to let you know, Jay O'Leary joined the call
Oh,
a moment
okay,
ago.
thank
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm not, and again, you can use your Zoom feature to raise a hand if you've got a comment, and at the moment, I'm not seeing anyone.
Okay, Jay, do you have any questions or comments? Are you on mute?
She is on mute.
I can't see her.
No. Yeah, she
No.
has a video, but okay. Maybe.
Jay, we can't see you or hear you. If you can unmute if you want. Do you have any questions or comments? All right, hearing none. May I get a motion then that we approve the application as submitted?
So moved.
Here, do I have a second?
I'll second it. Holly?
Thank you. Thank you, Holly. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand, I guess, too.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, it's motion is approved and temporary certificate is granted. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, so
Thank you very much for approving it.
you're welcome. Okay, so our second public hearing, again, of the Farmington Historic District Commission on December 1, 2020, is on the following: Richard Troya, application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to replace 5 windows at 25 Hatters Lane. Richard, I assume you're on the call. If you could give your name and your address and then make a presentation with respect to what you're applying for. Or Roger. I don't know who's on the call from this. Roger,
It's
you want-
Roger. It's
Okay.
Roger.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, I'm with Renewal by Anderson. What we are proposing to do is take 5 of the windows and replace them. They're inefficient as far as heat loss. And what we're going to do is, I guess the question was the grills that we're going to use. From what I understand, they are grills between the glass. So what there is it's a double pane window and the grill goes between the glass. If you go right, okay.
That one, or you want me to keep going?
Okay, I was going to look at the pictures and kind of show you where they're all right there. If you go back up one, that's the front of the house. Of the home, we're not replacing anything in the front. They're all in the back. For example, the porch on the left-hand side, you see right where your cursor is exactly. The windows are behind that. So when you look at them from the road, you don't see them. If you scroll down to the next picture, maybe we can, yeah, like right there. There's one right there. Those are 4 of them along the back side there. And if you keep going, there should be one more.
Can't hear Roger.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. You're coming
Okay.
through loud and clear.
Okay, those are the windows we're doing, and I guess the question was the grills. The grills are going to be like, the windows will be like to like. The only issue is the homeowner wanted to do in the back portion of the home, do grills between the glass. Number 1 for cost, and number 2 for easy to clean. If the grills are between the glass, you're cleaning one big window instead of all the individual ones. There is a thought looking forward to doing the front portion of the home. And what I would ask you, if you approve this one, would you want us to use what we call true divided light, which is a grill outside, inside, in between the glass on the front portion of the home towards the road, or is that not necessary?
Yeah, so those are the few questions I have. So let me ask first, are the windows you're proposing to replace, or the new windows you're going to use, are those the same maker and style as the ones that are in the front and were replaced previously in the last couple of years?
Yes. They're like to like. So they're for
not,
example, there's one that's kind of a short, skinny one. And that's the only one that's not, that it's going to be just like this, where it says 104, that one right there, that will look just like that. All the other ones are what we call a double hung window, which will look exactly like what's in the front of the house.
right, but are the ones in the front true divided light?
Correct.
But the ones you're proposing are not true divided light.
Correct.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Why?
Okay.
Why wouldn't you match the exact same window?
Cost and the ease to clean.
Yeah.
Their thought was that the homeowner thought that by doing this in the back of the home, they're saving money and they're making it easier for them to clean. And then when we do, if and when we do get to the front of the house, we would do it with true divided light.
Again, I apologize. I tried to figure this out and I couldn't. So this house was extensively renovated and it's a great job, great house. Appreciate that there's more investment going into the house. But I know at that time they put in windows and those were new windows. So I guess I'm just, the preference would be, why wouldn't you use, and I hear your reasons, but are they the same windows? So if it's divided light, however that was done, whether it's true or not, I think that the expectation would be, and the preference would be to match that.
Okay. The windows that were installed in the front portion of the home, which is the oldest section of the home.
Yeah,
Okay.
like that window on the right there. Isn't that a new window? Or no? Maybe not. Or above.
That is going to be, that I shouldn't say that is 103. Can you go back to the other picture for one quick second? I just want to make sure I've got the right, yes, that is the one, the windows 101, 102, 104, and 5 are in the back section of the home. And the 103 is in the front. On the right-hand side of that photograph right there.
So what are the grills like on the bay window that's there? That's clearly there, right? Is that true divided?
That is, we did not do that. I didn't do that window.
But-
I don't,
But it is true divided. It's not.
I believe it.
Lies.
I believe it's true divided.
It is. I've seen it.
Okay, all right.
Well, let me, I'm just trying to help because I know people have questions and I just want to make sure we're all thinking of the same facts and et cetera. So with that, why don't we go to questions from the commissioners? Jay O'Leary, are you able to unmute and do you have any questions or comments for the applicant?
That answers that.
No? Still muted?
It's showing unmuted, so I don't know.
Maybe she walked away. All right, we'll come back to her. Okay.
I can't, was she the one that couldn't hear me? Because I couldn't hear her.
No, that's actually Liz. Liz, do you have any questions or comments? Do you want to, could you hear us?
I can hear you, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, were these not replaced when the renovations were done, or they just want to change the windows out? I just was curious. You know?
The reason that they wanted that they got me in there to change them was the efficiency with heat.
Okay. And is this on, if you're looking at the house, you say it's in the back of the house, is it on the right or the left side? Is it closest to the 103 or on the other
No,
side?
on the other side. You see on the left-hand side,
So
it's
visible
behind
from,
that porch.
somewhat visible from the road?
Yeah.
Not from the
Right.
road. 103 is visible from the road. The other 4 are not. That is Hatter's Lane is across the front of that.
No,
bay.
yeah, no, I understand, but if you're
Okay,
driving
all right.
up Hatter's Lane, you can't see parts of the house, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty open lot. You can see that side of the house, I think.
Yeah,
Anything else, Liz?
no, that's it for me, thank you.
Okay. Evan, do you have any questions or comments for the applicant?
So my only question would be, on the photo we're looking at right now, it looks like there are 2 windows that would not be matching this new window. Is that the case?
2 up above.
Correct.
They will look the same, but they will not be exactly the same. No.
Okay.
You have 9 over
the
9.
window, Evan, the window marked 103, the
Right.
replacement window will look like what's there now. If you notice above, there's a different grill pattern,
Got it.
whereas down
Okay.
below, I believe it's, I can't quite see it. I think it's a 4/3, 4x3. Whereas up above, it's a 3 straight across.
Okay, thank you.
What we're doing is we're putting in like to like, but they are not at the point where they want to replace the 2 above yet. So they may later on.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay. Holly, do you have any questions?
Yes, I just want to confirm that the one on the right, the 103, that is true divided. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And so
Yes,
the
it is.
ones, so right now, we're not talking about replacing anything on the front of the house.
That 103,
Yes,
the one they're showing. they're gonna
103. Yeah, correct.
It is being replaced with a single pane?
Correct. At this point,
And-
yes. 103,
But
yes,
But presently, what I'm looking at now are true divided.
correct.
Okay, personally, I don't know what the precedent is in the HGC right now as far as having the panes within the mullions within the glass. What has that been applicable before?
No. We haven't allowed it in the past.
This is a first. That's that's the impression I was under. So I think it's appropriate to keep the true divided in the front of the house that's facing Hatter's Lane. That would be what I think is appropriate. But for the backside, I don't think it's that visible. So I could approve that side with the new glass, but I would have a hard time approving those on the front of the house that faces Hatter's Lane. I think part of the charm of the house is having the true divided window panes. It's such a charming little house, or not little, it's a charming house.
Just so I have that straight, you're talking about the one in the front, the 103, make that true divided, and the other, I got you. I understand.
And if you were going to propose the two above the bay window at some point, I would request that they be true divided as well.
Okay. Now here's a question. If I can ask you a question, just for I can make my notes for future. Would you want on the two above the bay window? Would you want consistency with what's there now, or would you allow or prefer them to go with the 4x3?
Personally, personally, I think aesthetically, if it could match the one that is on the 103, the newer one.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I would say that's probably going to be the preference. Obviously, you'd have to come for a permit or a certificate of appropriateness, but
I just
I
don't
don't
want
think you'll
to.
get much pushback.
My concern is that if we approve them for the left side of the house, I don't want to set a precedent that it's been approved so it can be applicable to the front side. So I think that if whatever we vote on, if it comes out to that particular proposal, then I'd like to spell that out.
Okay.
Okay,
I have it. So we're doing,
let's go through and then we'll come back. I mean, that's, I think, going to be the point that we're going to have to discuss when we are through taking questions and comments. Do you have anything else, Holly, at the moment?
No, that's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Great. I don't think
Liz,
John.
I just have a clarifying question.
Go ahead, Liz.
I'm sorry. Just to further kind of flesh out what Holly was saying, do we just concern ourselves from what's visible from the street all the time, or is it, do we look at the house as a whole?
Okay, so we do look at the house as a whole, but our charge and ability is to, we have, in order to do work from any property that is in the historic district, any changes which are observable from a public way, you are required to get a certificate of appropriateness. So it is an issue of whether or not it's visible from a public way. I hesitate, but I'll say it. I walk here all the time. That side of the house, you can clearly see as you walk up Hatter's Lane towards Diamond Glen. I mean, you see that entire length. So I personally am comfortable that we have the, not only the right, but we should be examining this issue and thinking about it from that perspective, which is all of these windows are visible from a public way, and we do have the authority to make the determination as to what is appropriate.
That was also my interpretation, that you can see that part of the house as you walk, drive, run up Hatter's Lane.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think that's a very good point.
John Renahan, do you have any questions or comments at this point?
Yeah, well, one, thanks for the clarification, because when we first started, I thought this was just on the back, but it's clear that this is full visibility to the front. I guess maybe just because I think I'm all for consistency with our precedent and maintaining kind of our guidance that we've given before. I guess, and I apologize if I forget your name. It says Rich on the thing. I think somebody said Robert.
It's Roger.
Roger, just so we know, because I think we all should understand the decisions or make the economic impact. Like, what is the percentage difference in cost to go with the divided light, you know, in terms of a higher cost?
For all the windows to go to true divided light is around $2,200 of additional over the windows.
It's an incremental 2,200 for the
Correct.
4 windows to have divided versus like on top of not having just the ones that you were trying to advocate for that don't have divided.
Correct.
Okay. Doesn't change my recommendation or opinion, but thank you for
Okay. No, that's fine.
helpful to know.
Okay, Jim Calciano, I think you're the only one that hasn't asked any questions or comments.
I have plenty to say. There's no question that that side of the house is totally visible. We have rejected many a window that weren't divided lights. One of the things that we should be made aware of that when we talk about, well, what's the difference? You can still see the squares. It has to do with texture. When you walk by that house, you see those individual mountains. You can see it in the window. So a new window, you get the fine pane of glass. And I'd love those kind of windows too, but it's in a historic district, so there's no question that it should be that. And as far as 103, you know, that's I think it's a 12 over 12, Roger, is that?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, yeah, and again, if you wanted to replace it, you could, but to me, it would have to be a true divided light. So that's my answer on an opinion on that. The other question is the windows on that west side. What was the layout of the divisions going? What were they going to be? 6 over 6 to 12 over 12? What were they? I didn't know if I had.
You mean 101, 102, and 105?
Yes.
Those are the same. I believe it's what we're doing is we're replacing what's there.
Okay.
So I
So if
believe
they're 6 over 6, that's what they're going to be.
correct.
Okay. So
Everything went like to like.
Yep. So yeah, no, I think it's to me it's very clear. I know sometimes it's a little onerous, but I think to maintain, you know, that appearance, and they've done a lot of work on that house, as Jay said, and it's commendable. But within that framework, we have to follow through, and I think true divided light. And by the way, true divided light that we allow is not really true divided light. So those would be 5 times more expensive than these. So it's you know, it's like a blessing in disguise. That's it.
That's it? Okay, thanks, Jim. I'm going to ask again if Jay O'Leary, if you have any questions or comments. Okay. Is there anybody on this call listening? If you're listening, you have to raise your chat hand. Is there anybody else that's on the call live that has any questions or comments? Feel free to speak up, because I can't see you all.
Yeah, there's nobody indicating that they have any questions or comments for this application, Jeff.
Okay. All right, so I think we've kind of vetted out the issue, you know, and that obviously is, it's really come down to obviously no objection to new windows, but the real issue is the divided light, and then what the patterns are, I guess like for like is what I'm hearing. But with that, maybe somebody could make a motion as to, well, you can make any motion you like. Does anybody like to make a motion on this application?
I'd like to propose that Jim make a motion.
I was
I was going to say the same thing.
Okay, So I will propose, make a motion that Windows 104 be, you want to replace that in kind, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be the same one.
So 104 in kind, 105, 101, and 102 should be true divided light. Whatever the mullions are, it looks to be 6 over 6, true divided light, and 103, if it were to be replaced, 12 over 12, true divided light. That's it.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? I'll say I think I agree with it. This is the way to go. I appreciate everything the homeowner has done as well as the previous homeowner. And, as John points out, it's unfortunate, but sometimes we have to step up a little and pay a little more. But I think overall, I don't know about everybody else, but as you walk around these neighborhoods in this time, it's just astounding to see what a beautiful area we live in. And although it's marginal, little things like this will make a big difference over time. So I personally think it's probably the right way to go. Does anybody else have a comment on this motion? All right, I hear none. Well, let's all in favor signify by saying aye, and maybe raise your hand to help out Shannon, just in case.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Raise your hand or signify by saying aye. Any abstentions? Okay, that motion passes, Roger.
Okay.
You will get notification from the town. Obviously, if you have any questions, you can talk to Shannon or Sandy, and they should be able to help you out.
Okay. So we just make those, we're gonna make the 4 out of the 5 true divided light, and we're good to go.
Yep.
Correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
As the other
Right,
one.
the rectangular one, you can put whatever is there, whatever works for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you for your patience and for your
No problems.
your information was well done, well presented.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All
Guys,
right.
have a
So
great
that's. Thank you. You too. All right. So other business. Let me first, so I don't forget, because I always worry we will. The minutes of this is the October 20 meeting. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented? I did read them. I didn't see anything that required changes.
So moved.
Do I have a second? I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. New business, Main Street Sidewalk Project. Shannon, did you have something, or did I have something?
We do, and actually, Russ Arnold and Kathy Blonsky are on the call
Oh,
to
great.
review this. So we've got the plan up, and Russ, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, thanks, Shannon. Hi, everybody. It's Russ Arnold, Kathy Blonsky is here, excuse me. CJ Thomas is on the call along with Brian Connolly, members of the committee. Shannon, can you shrink this a little bit just to try and get the whole thing in?
I can try.
Right there, perfect. Oop, too much.
Too much, okay. How's that?
Perfect. A little bit, one more down.
That's it.
That's fine. Basically what it is, so I'll start and explain to everybody. We have been granted a handful of different grants and money to replace the sidewalks from Route 4. As far as the money will take us right now, we're figuring that the money will get us to Highland Park Market. We're proposing to replace all the sidewalk on both sides, east and west side of Route 10, to Highland Park where it exists in green. There will be a new section proposed, you can't see my mouse, in red. That is with Brian Hendrickson's property. I forget, 153 Main Street, I think is the number. I can't remember exactly. He's just before Main Gate, before Tunx's Street as well. So that red section of red would be the only new sidewalk that we're proposing. Everything else in green is existing, will be replaced with concrete. And if we were going to, in order to meet ADA, we would have to maintain 5 feet minimum width. And I will stress at this point, we are not planning to cut any trees down. All the trees are planning to remain. We will taper the sidewalk down to get by the trees. There will be minimal disruption to the soil underneath. We'll take out the existing. We're planning on using the existing base as it sits today. So there'd be minimal disruption to the existing root systems. As you know, we want to maintain that structure as much as possible. We are going to do a little minor grade change in order to preserve the root system on some of these trees where we have to taper it. The other issue that we discussed at great length as part of the committee is the need for lighting, but adding in pedestrian lighting that had come out from the Farmington Ad Hoc Committee. It would be a decorative lighting plan for through the project, but I don't think financially we have the money to support that. A point has been brought up to include installation of conduit under the sidewalk for future lighting needs. Right now, you know, I've walked it several times at night. The lighting is adequate in my opinion, but the pedestrian lighting would add to it, just like it has, and it would be enhancement, purely decorative, like it has been along Route 4 from the state project.
Russ, why don't you make it clear though that the lighting is on phase 2 of the project.
Right.
So we're just letting you know that we are going out for an ad alternate to see what the conduit would cost underneath. But the thought would be is that the phase 2 lighting, if we do the lighting it will definitely be on phase 2, and we'd be coming back to the historic district on that. The lighting has not been vetted, other than the fact that it's been recommended that we just get a price to see what it would cost to go underneath with the conduit.
And that conduit would be installed underneath the sidewalk, and it's required to be 2 feet deep. So the trench would be cut underneath the sidewalk. And do we want to talk about the controllers?
Yeah.
Shannon, can you put up a couple of the controller pictures? So what we've done is taken a liberty. This is a typical controller cabinet. There's one in front of the country club. This one happens to be one from Unionville where the controllers would have to go. And we're probably talking they'd have to be somewhere about 75 to 80 controller cabinets throughout the whole corridor. And just wanted to give everybody an idea of what it would look like. We've superimposed it. That is actually to scale. So we have that one, and these are just general locations. There wasn't any rhyme or reason to why we picked these. We're just as a placeholder to show what it would look like in front of the houses.
Why are these needed?
These are, it's like the controller cabinet controls the power to the lights. It's like it's an electrical panel like you would have in your house, but they're needed to be able to shut the lights on and off in case you had to work on the system.
3 feet tall?
That's 5 feet tall.
5 feet tall.
Yeah.
That's
How many?
That's a real eyesore. I'm sorry. That's a really bad eyesore. It's such a historic road.
You're probably talking, somebody asked the question, I'm sorry, Holly, somebody asked the question, how many?
Yeah.
I'd say right now, without really getting into it, at least 75 or 80 of them over the mile, 2 mile, mile on each side.
And I guess that's one of the reasons that the committee has talked about, if we're going to do lighting, that we'd be maybe potentially doing solar lighting, which doesn't need these boxes. And, but again, all of this is phase 2, but this is one of the reasons why the lighting is going to be in phase 2 is because we haven't vetted it. And obviously those cabinets would not be, doesn't seem ideal to me in the historic district. And also the fact that, to put the conduit underneath the ground, could potentially have some issue with the trees. So that's another topic. So again, I think CJ's on the line. He's obviously our council chair. If you just wanted to weigh in, CJ, on that. Again, the idea is that this is just phase one. It's the sidewalk plan, but if we are coming back for lights, we will. The reason why we're talking about the conduit is that we do have an ad alternate. We were requested to get an ad alternate to see, because once the sidewalk's there, you obviously don't want to tear it up again. So we are getting a price for that, but the committee really talked about having phase two, and it would be solar lighting, which you wouldn't have to have those boxes and you wouldn't have to go under the ground.
Solar lighting is very large as well. It's not as if it's just, that's something I think we all better consider.
Okay, Holly, I'll jump in here. This is CJ Thomas.
Sorry.
A couple of things. As far as the ad alternate cost for the conduit, we did just want to get a price in case that was an interest. These boxes are horrendous looking, in my opinion, particularly in a historic district. They're not attractive in a non-historic district. So that's not ideal by any means. As far as the lighting, it's really amazing what they do with solar lighting now. They don't have to be large lights. The efficiencies to solar lighting has improved so much that the hood on top of the light can have the solar panels integrated into them. So you don't need these huge panels that you used to have for solar lighting. Again, we're talking about something that as long as it's solar lighting is a future discussion for phase two. The first part of that discussion is, does the Historic Commission think they want lights in the historic neighborhood? Keeping in mind, this neighborhood never had that type of lights here. So it's not like you're going back to what was removed once in the past. You'd be adding a feature that looks like we assumed it might have wanted to look like at a different point in time. The light that's added has never really been the focus on it when in the discussions, and Brian's on the call also, but he was explaining some of the conversations at the meetings he was at. Really, the discussion was more for a decorative purpose, not for added lighting. The lighting that's out there, as Russ pointed out, has always been sufficient lighting. This would be more a focus of decorative purposes. But the idea of solar was so you didn't have to have the huge 5-foot boxes, 72 or whatever it would be. And you also didn't have to dig down into potentially the root system of the trees, because one of the biggest focuses, everyone said, let's preserve the trees at all costs. And Russ has come up with a design that's done just that. This might sort of undercut that idea, and you might lose some trees by cutting into the root system. So
Absolutely. You're talking 2 feet?
Yes.
Yes.
These trees are well established. I mean, the existing sidewalk is about how deep?
Russ?
Oh, about 6 inches, Holly, is what we plan on taking out. And our plan is to remove it and bring it up where we can to avoid having to dig into any of the roots as much as possible.
Great.
I think putting conduit would be a big mistake. The village never had lighting other than street lights. It's not like it's a Newport or a Newburyport where they always had gas lighting, and that's not what we are. We're adding something that never was here, and that's I think that is something that historic. I know the Department of Interior is never really much in favor of making something look old for the sake of whatever. So I think Russ is right in elevating the sidewalks over the roofs where we don't want to disturb them. So that makes sense. I certainly wouldn't be in favor of any kind of conduit and really any kind of decorative lighting, because it was never there and it was never meant to be. And that's part of what we are.
I want to make sure all the commissioners get a chance if they want to say something. Liz, did you have any comments or questions for the town?
No, I agree with everything that's been said. I think We avoid those boxes at all costs.
Yeah.
That's
Evan?
No questions, just wanted to thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to seeing the proposal.
Holly, I know you've already commented. Do you have anything else you want to add? Or ask?
No, I think I would have to concur with Jim. This is a charming town. We've never had lights, and the thought of digging 2 feet down to put conduit is, these trees are too old. That would really do some damage. So I'm against it.
Okay, thank you. John Renahan?
Yeah, just again, kudos on capturing the grant money to redo the sidewalks. Huge win. So thank you for that. But
Yes.
absolutely no go on the lights. Like, I almost felt like I'm laughing because it's like, is this like scare tactics? Like, this is what it could look like if we did the lights. And you probably saw the nonverbal reaction from all of us, and it seems like we're aligned that the lighting just is probably a pretty bad idea in general. So that's my view anyway.
And Jay O'Leary, are you make comment? Yeah, okay. Well, I'll add that I do agree with Jim and others. I think we're unanimous in thinking that, you know, the lights are not, they're not, well, I guess I always look at it two ways, right? What's necessary? You know, what are we, is there a real safety or a risk issue here? I don't believe there is. I know that, for instance, Porter's has added some lights at some intersections, and that, you know, even if we didn't think they were necessarily as appropriate as we would like, we recognize that, you know, safety comes first, and certainly at crossings, especially with young students, we want to make sure everybody's safe. But, you know, as Jim says and others have said, there just hasn't been regular street lighting in the village. I don't think, no matter how nice of a lamp you picked, you couldn't make it look better by adding the lights. So I just don't think that that's an avenue necessary to go down, and I would strongly advocate that we not look at that. If there are specific crossing issues, then I would be open to hearing it, and I suspect others would as well. But I will say finally that for the benefit, I know some of you were there, I do give the town a lot of credit on how they've gone forward with this project. They did have a outdoor public meeting where all of the people whose properties were affected were invited, and they got a very good turnout, and they did a very nice job. Everybody that's on this call, as a matter of fact, spoke at that, and it was very clear, and I think it alleviated a lot of concerns that not only did I have, but that others had. And I think we're all looking forward now to this project as it's designed, but we'll ask that the lights be not included if that's possible. So anybody else, or Shannon, back to you, I guess. Anything else?
Sure. Russ, do you folks have anything else you want to add regarding this, or you're all set?
Just to be clear, I know John mentioned that it was a scare tactic. This wasn't a scare tactic. It was more a realistic check to make sure that everyone understands, like, this is what we need to do if these, you know, to put the lights in. It wasn't, you know, I'm not trying to sandbag anything. It's just, this is the reality of it and what is going to be allowed and how these things work. I just wanted to be upfront and honest with everybody so you could see what would be happening if the lights go in with electrically. You know, the solar ones are a totally other issue.
Russ, even if there were only 20 of them, it would be scary enough.
Listen, I don't want to be the one to tell somebody to call and say, oh, I got to put this one box in front of someone's house. Because it's just, I'm dumb, but I'm not that stupid. But that's the reality.
It's amazing that you'd have to do that. I'm amazed by it, but I'm sure you do. But no, John had to drop off. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, I assume he would say he didn't really mean that he really.
Exactly. I just wanted to make sure everyone understood that I'm just trying to be upfront with everybody so you can see.
Yeah, no, I greatly, again, another good step. I applaud the way you and Kathy and CJ are handling this to be as transparent as possible, and getting the input also from Historic District. Hopefully we've made a pretty strong, cohesive point of view.
Oh, it's
I
very-
would say your opinion is loud and clear. So thank you very much. And thank you all.
Thanks,
you know,
CJ.
Thank you all
Thanks,
for doing
CJ.
good work on this
Thank you.
board commission.
Take care, CJ.
I know,
Thank you.
I have to.
Okay,
take off.
and Jay, I don't have anything else for the commission this evening, so.
Okay, I don't either. I don't know if there's anybody, any commissioners, did you have anything that you wanted to bring up or bring to our attention or discuss informally? Okay, well, hearing none, thank you, everybody, for getting on, and I guess we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yes.
All right,
Sure.
okay,
Wonderful.
thanks.
Bye.
Thank
So
you
long,
all.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.